Hi everyone, I'm Ali GREYMOND. Today I wanted to talk to you about OCD and avoidance. I find that the whole topic of avoidance is not brought up as much as reassurance by me or by other people, and it's important to actually talk about it probably more than we do because you know avoidance is the same really as reassurance. It's not better, and a lot of the times when a person is coming into uh, the OCD recovery, they kind of don't realize that because, well, nobody told them, right? So um, they kind of look at it, well, if I always give to clients the classic example of, well, if I don't drive, then I don't have driving OCD, right? You know what I mean? And well, yeah, but and first of all, that never works because once the brain is in this kind of obsessive mode, so to speak, in the OCD mode, it will find it elsewhere. So yeah, okay, so say for example, in that example that I was just talking about, the person is now avoiding driving, and for a little while they feel good. They're like, oh, you know what, I can just get around it. But little by little, little compulsions here and there start to creep in, and the world slowly kind of becomes smaller and smaller around them with a lot of different limitations. It seems like, oh, this is just a small limitation here, a small limitation there, but they add up and they become huge. All right. So avoidance is never the answer. Um, the okay, maybe in the only instances is same as what I talk about with reassurance, that if you have some sort of an important event, say you're like I talk to a lot of girls, for example, women who are pregnant, right? And um, right before birth is probably not the time to do exposure work, right? The day before. So in that case, maybe it is better to avoid, just to kind of like we'll handle it later, right? Just so you don't get triggered right before, or an hour before a job interview, probably not the best time. So in that case, okay, maybe you can avoid, but overall you really need to address that avoidance because and a lot of the times it kind of sneaks up on you where you don't realize you are doing avoidance, but you actually are. So to really examine your life, where am I going uh, wrong with this? Like, is there anything I'm avoiding? Is there anything I'm doing differently than other people? you know and the reason why avoidance is just as bad as reassurance is, again, going back to how I explained that OCD works, right? Is that you are telling your brain what's important, and whatever you say, it just repeats. So if you say this situation is important, and not only is it important, is it's important and scary, I'm gonna react to it with a lot of fear. I'm gonna really try to protect myself by um, figuring it out, doing compulsions, rituals, whatever, right? The brain's like, okay, I'll make sure that I'll bring up similar situations all the time, just so you're aware because you said that it's important. So that's why it's bringing it up, right? So when you're saying, I'm going to avoid this because I'm so scared of it, you're saying basically the same thing. I'm scared of it and I have to make sure I'm safe. I need to protect myself. So the brain's like, okay, I'll send you every situation to make sure you avoid it, to make sure you protect yourself. So there's no difference. So it feels like you are preventing bad reactions. You're preventing compulsions, but you're really not. You're actually making the situation worse. It's not different than if you started just to do compulsions. And again, compulsions, I mean, overall mental compulsions or physical compulsions, right? So look at it as something that you cannot do. And if you are in a situation where you're doing a lot of avoidance, because sometimes uh, I talk to people who they might not have a lot of reassurance behaviors because they're avoiding everything. So they don't kind of need reassurance behaviors in a sense. And you just like reassurance, you need to start coming out of it. So little by little, reduce your avoidances. Stop avoiding at least things that are just giving you slight anxiety, and then work up to the bigger thing. Try to look at recovery as a process, right? It didn't take overnight to get to the situation. It took a while to develop all these rituals, all these compulsions, all these triggers, uh, like all these triggers to become triggers, right? So it's gonna take a little while for it to go away, and I can tell you that. If you really work hard at yourself with this stuff, really every day, at least doing something. I know some days it's like I can't even get out of bed, Ali. How can I do this, right? Do something. Just maybe just get out of bed. Just get something to eat. You know, just maybe if you're analyzing and that's your biggest compulsion, refuse to analyze for half an hour. So today 1.5 hour out of the entire day, I'm going to be really focused. And during this time, I will refuse to analyze. And tomorrow, I'll make it an hour. And the next day, I'm going to make it an hour and a half. And in a week, you're going to free up, like, how many hours, right? Because as you go, you also get fast. It gets faster because you feel more confident. So it's not really exactly like the same. It it increases more as you go, so this works. It's not a black or white situation where it's like, okay, if I can't figure it out right this second, I'm never going to recover. It's not like that. It's like little day by day efforts create recovery, and I can tell you this is, if you're new to this channel, I've done this. I've had severe OCD. I've recovered. I've seen people for the last 10 years recover. You can do this, but you just need to be consistent. You need to stay on track, and you need to be focused every day, every moment of every day, no matter what, no matter how bad things get. You know, and watch your stress levels, watch how much anxiety you're putting out in real life as well, like how much you're worrying over real life things, because the brain doesn't understand these thoughts. It doesn't understand the difference between real life thoughts and these thoughts. It's kind of lumping in them all. It's the same. It's okay. This is important. I'll send it more of this to you. That's what it does. So if you overreact to things in real life, it will have this ricochet effect into OCD. So try to handle things across the board. And again, avoidance, reassurance, analyzing, asking people, trying to figure things out, looking things up on Google. It's all off limits. They're not different behaviors, they're the same behaviors. you know Little by little, eliminating all of them, and try to work on them as a whole. Don't work on each one individually, because, like, don't say like, okay, today I'm just going to work, or right now I'm just going to work on reassurance for a week, then I'm work on avoidance, because it's like, it seems like if you just focus on one, it spills into other ones. Same as with themes. If you have multiple themes, which many people do, many people don't, it's kind of 50-50, I would say. um, but if you have multiple themes, try to work on all of them. Don't just focus on one, because as you're focusing on one, another one could get worse. So look at them as a group. I hope you find my advice helpful. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I do daily videos on OCD recovery. If you would like to do the recovery program with me, all the information is on youhaveocd.com, and you can sign up from there as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.